Hello?
Sure. Okay. Let me know
Hello?
whenever you want to meet. So then we.
Hello?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So we're just going to have Mr. Shaunak join us very soon. He's trying to dial in. So bear with us for another 2 minutes, and we'll be starting the webinar.
Hello, Saif, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great. Okay, my mom's internet saved me.
All right, perfect. So would you like to begin?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'll open up the PPT. Or do you have it with you?
I do have it with me. Hold on, let me just.
Fantastic. Okay. Okay, perfect.
All right.
All right, so we're good to go, right?
Yes.
Great. Okay. All
Would you
right,
like to-
Yalamadas, everyone. Sorry, Saif, you have something?
Yeah. Would you like me to introduce you?
Nah, that's fine. That's okay. I think you already made me famous through the messages and the announcements.
All right. All right. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, Yalamadas, everyone. I'm so sorry I'm late by a couple of minutes. My internet really conked off, and I'm at my mercy at my mom's internet now. उनके फोन से जो चल रहा है वो चल रहा है. I'm going to be using both English and Hindi for my talk. So hopefully it should be kind of comprehensible by everyone. And I think I don't know. I believe all or most of the participants over here are actively looking forward for applying to the ISP, and that's why they are here. Or maybe they are probably trying to get some information, and so that they can pass on the information to others who are wanting to apply to ISP. So I will tailor my speech accordingly. And yeah, I think we can begin now. Okay. So very quickly, just a little bit about myself. I'm Shaunak Bhayani. I am an ex national board member for the Aga Khan Education Board. I've been with the board for a very long time now, almost 14, 15 years officially, and I've just taken a break. Professionally, I'm working with JP Morgan and Chase, and I think by now you all must have guessed what is my designation, because these guys have really made me famous. Uh, I I think I don't know that that's a very good job, but then it's sometimes it's really embarrassing as well. So, anyways, uh, when I was with the education board, I was taking care, or I was looking after the scholarship portfolio, and that's how my connection with the ISP, the International Scholarship Program, began. So, and just to let everyone know, I was a part of the panel for the ISP, the scholarship interview panel, for the last 3 years. So, I would really encourage, that yes, for the next 20 minutes, do listen to me, do kind of whatever gyan I can give to you, and but do have your barrage of questions ready with you, because I'll hopefully I'll be able to answer questions from both the sides. I was the scholarship coordinator looking after this portfolio, and also on the panel for the ISP. So I'm hoping that I can give you answers, be it from the preparation side or the application side, or on the or any questions or confusion or clarifications required on the interview side as well. So let's begin this. Yeah, I'll make sure that I pause after every 5 or 10 minutes so that we can take questions. I think you all are muted, so whenever you have questions, you can kind of put your questions on the chat box. I'll make sure that I'm reading and answering all the questions. Okay. Safe? Any issues?
No problem.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's begin this. First slide. Okay. So very quickly, what is the objective of this particular program? So Aga Khan Foundation International Scholarship Program, ISP as it is famously called, is one of the scholarship program that is there in the umbrella of the on the Aga Khan portfolio. Aga Khan Education Board has 3 programs that offer scholarships. One is the EDP, that is for the school-going kids. One is the TSP, that is the tertiary scholarship program, that is for your undergrad studies in India. And the third program is ISP. ISP is not only solely a program by Aga Khan Education Board, but it's a scholarship that is offered from the Aga Khan Foundation. And Aga Khan Education Board is a party to that. So it doesn't financially help, I mean, the budget or anything as such, but it is operationally helping the Aga Khan Foundation team to kind of screen the applicants, interview them, and then help process the applications. So what's the purpose? The purpose is very simple: to give outstanding students from the developing countries the opportunity to pursue postgraduate studies at reputable academic institutions in order to prepare them for employment. Yeah. So the ISP exists to enable academically meritorious and financially needy students to access appropriate levels of grant and loan financing. We will get to know that a little bit more in detail for from recognized quality institutions abroad. So for students in India, you can use ISP, you can look forward to ISP if you want to pursue your master's degree or your PhD from any great or good universities abroad, out of India. Now, ISP is an international program, it's an Aga Khan Foundation program, so it is very, very important to know कि इसमें सिर्फ India ही part नहीं लेता है. There are participating countries over here. So India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all those countries that you see on the screen over there, including Canada and USA, they all are participating. That means a student in USA and Canada can also apply to ISP, the International Scholarship Program, right? So it's really a global program, and that's why it is kind of being it's supervised or overviewed by Aga Khan Foundation. And as I said, Aga Khan Education Board India is operationally helping the Aga Khan Foundation to process all the applications from India. Now, one very big disclaimer, and I don't want to disappoint anyone, but over the last couple of years, the foundation is not accepting applications from students who are trying to get admission into universities in UK, Germany, and some other European countries. Now, I know this is very sad because last 2-3 साल में हमारे पास में काफी students आए थे जिन्होंने कहा है कि मुझे UK की Oxford University में admission मिल रहा है, I'm getting admission into some great or good European country universities, but unfortunately these countries listed over here on this particular slide, अगर यहाँ पे आपका college में university में admission होता है, then because of some legal issues, the foundation is not able to help you in terms of scholarship. Be very, very clear with this, guys. And I really want you to pay attention over here because I don't want anyone to be kind of dependent कि yes, मेरे को ISP मिल जाएगा, मैं ISP apply कर लूँगा या कर लूँगी just because मेरे को UK में एक best university में admission मिला है. So this is a big disclaimer for everyone on this call. The foundation assists students with tuition fees, living expenses, and other study-related expenses only. Cost of your travel to and fro from the university is not covered, but your tuition fees, that is the major chunk of your expenses, your living expenses. So while you are studying in a particular university, let's say in USA, तो जब आप 1 साल 2 साल वहाँ पे रह रहे हो, आपका पूरा expenses ये scholarship के through offer किया जा सकता है. All right, so this is just the objectives and scope. This is what the ISP is all about. Not taking questions now. I'll move to the next slide. Seth?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the application criteria. Now, कौन इस ISP के लिए apply कर सकता है? What is the criteria? Okay. So, a couple of criteria, rather a big list over here. Consistently excellent academic records. Now, जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि ये ISP is for students who wish to pursue their masters abroad, out of India. तो जिन्होंने यहाँ पे undergrad studies कर ली है and they want to pursue anything in Canada, USA, Europe, few countries of Europe, or some, or maybe Singapore or some other countries, they can apply. But the criteria to apply is that you have to have a very good academic background. Consistently excellent academic records mean your 10 standard scores in India, your 12 standard scores in India, your undergrad scores, be it CGPAs or percentages or percentiles, they have to be really good and excellent and consistently excellent. Student, very less you will find applications where 10th or 12th में बहुत ही बुरा था, 50-60, probably कोई अच्छा course कर लिया from some good college, and then he is or she is trying to apply to the ISP. Right? There is no hard criteria. The application will still go through, but जब आपका initial screening होगा, वो level पे शायद आपका application reject हो जाएगा. I'm again repeating it. There is no hard criteria. 40% होना चाहिए, 70% होना चाहिए, 80% होना चाहिए. There is no hard criteria as such. But please understand, अगर आपके scores consistently अच्छे नहीं हैं, then there are greater chances of your application getting rejected in the first stage itself. Okay? Genuine financial need. Of course, the student has to be showing that need that he wants or she wants the money. If somebody is coming from a very affluent background, then of course people in the interview panel will question that why do you need scholarship, right? So there has to be a financial need. Admission to a highly reputable university or program. AK Nayani, such as leadership and extra curriculum. Baba, aa raha hu. 2 minute to ruk zara. Admission to highly reputable university or program. Now again, no hard criteria कि आपकी university top 10 या top 20 या top 50 में ही होनी चाहिए. But of course, this is being looked at. This will be looked at in your initial screening. This will also be looked at during your interview. So your university or the subject rank in that university should be at least in the top 100s or top 200s or somewhere over there. Relevance of study field to AKDN HR needs. Of course, this was a big criteria in the past, and this continues to be a good criteria. You have to choose a field, or your field should be in some way related to what AKDN's needs are in different countries around the world, right? That's like a prime criteria, so that AKDN should be funding you. That ठीक है, ये बंदा या ये बंदी जिसको हम fund कर रहे हैं, probably after the completion of his or her masters, he will be of some good to AKDN or any not-for-profit organization or any organization or company which is doing some good in the world. Yeah, so let's not get fixated कि AKDN ही, but आपकी जो study of आपका जो field है, वो आपको किसी न किसी तरीके से help करना चाहिए कि ताकि आप किसी तरीके से किसी को help कर पाओ. Right? Other criterias: thoughtful and coherent educational and career plans. One second. Okay, I'm looking at the chat. Hey guys, hang on, yaar. Complete करने दो, बाद में put these questions. Thoughtful and coherent educational and career plans. Of course, the career plan जो है, it has to be laid out very well. It has to be lucid enough to kind of to be explained. ठीक है, this is what I want. This is what I will get after completing my masters or PhD. Extracurricular achievements. Of course, you can imagine 30, 40, 50 लोग अगर अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, सबका academic criteria is best, सबने 10th, 12th, 15th में अगर super marks लाए हैं, then of course these extracurricular things will help you go past or go beyond the other applications. So that edge that will take you beyond the other applications then starts with the extracurriculars, your professional experience, your leadership skills, and your potential to achieve goals, the likelihood to succeed in a foreign academic environment. So all these criteria then become very, very relevant and very, very important, right? So the first few criteria on the list are like very, very basic. ये सब तो होना ही चाहिए. Now imagine करो कि अगर इतने सारे लोग apply करते हैं और वो सारे criteria meet करते हैं, then what is it that the interviewers and the screening team looks at is these achievements, these extracurriculars, the skills, the communication stuff, the presentation part that will come into play. So all this is an application criteria. Guys, I'm again repeating it. There is no hard criteria कि आपको form नहीं भरने दिया जाएगा या फिर आप form नहीं भर सकते हो. There is no hard criteria as such. Even if a university is ranking 800 or 1000, you still can apply. But there are high chances of your application getting rejected in the first stage because of your university rank. Okay? Okay. Next slide, Seth. Wonderful. Okay. Now, what is the application process to apply to ISP? Okay. So the application submission window is January to March. I believe this year it's 31st March, the deadline where you can submit your applications. This application is completely online. You can contact the AKEB, you can contact the scholarship committee or your board members in the education committee, and they will help you to kind of get the application forms or at least pass you the link जहाँ पे आप अपना forms भर सकते हो. Hang on, okay. I see some activity in chat. Okay, Azmina, hang on. We will answer all these questions. So don't worry. We will take all the questions one by one. Abhi tum, probably I will get a little distracted, or maybe others who are looking at the chat will get distracted. So let's don't bother about answering questions right now. We'll talk about it, everything about it later. All right. So the application window is January to March. 31st March, I believe, is the deadline. You can still confirm with the board members. For people who are not in touch with the board members, I think you can directly go to the Aga Khan Foundation website. वहाँ पे भी AKF ISP को market किया जाता है. So you can get the link directly from there. It is very, very well listed over there that what is the criteria, what do you need to kind of submit as part of your applications, your mark sheets, your certificates, your extracurriculars. There are SOPs that have to be written. You will have to submit what universities you're looking at, what have you got the admission or not. I think everything is very well and clearly laid out at this on the site of the AKF as well as in the application form. So that should not be a problem. Locations for interview in India: Delhi and Mumbai. This is where the interview happens. India panel consists of 5 members, including non-Ismaili members. So generally, over the last couple of years, 4 or 5 years, there have been 5 members in the interview panel. Now, especially for Ismailis, the way it works is, आप अपना form भरते हो. Your form is kind of passed to the Aga Khan Education Board, the national committee. The national committee will have its subcommittee of experts who have either been on the ISP panel before, historically, or they are experts in areas of study abroad, or they have a very good knowledge of the universities abroad, or they have been a part of the institute before. So they screen all the applications that we receive. So all the applications, all the Ismaili applications that come, they will first go through an initial screening by the Aga Khan Education Board National Committee, right? So just to give you an example, I think last 3 or 4 years, we have been getting around 40 to 50 applications, 40 to 50 Ismaili applications every year. The screening committee straight away has, I'll not, for the lack of a word, has rejected upfront at least 10 to 15 or max 20 applications because either they don't fit in the criteria, or probably the application has not been filled in correctly. There is something missing. The student has not understood the entire application process. He or she has not submitted something correctly. And for various reasons, the application gets rejected in the first round only. Now, those handful 20 or 25 applications that go through that first round, only those students, only those applicants will be called for the interview. Right, so this is very important, guys, and that's why I'm saying that be very, very careful while filling your form. Be very, very mindful of what you are submitting along with your application. Now, once the interview happens, uske baad bhi the India panel is only a recommending body. The panel cannot select and kind of stamp that okay, of the 20 Ismaili applicants that we interviewed, here are the top 5 or here are the top 3 that we select, and they will be getting the scholarship. No. Let's say of the 2025 they interview, they will only be selecting or recommending 5 students or 4 students max or 6 students max at any particular year. Agar applications are really strong, then they will only recommend and they will send this list to Geneva, to the international committee. Like I said in the very beginning, it's an international scholarship program. There are participating countries. India is just one of the participants. What happens is, after the interviews are done in all these countries, the recommended list goes to the international committee. It is again screened over there. There are discussions and deliberations that happen, and of the 4 or 5 जिसको इंडिया ने recommend किया रहेगा, ऐसा देखने में आया है that in the last 3 or 4 years, 3 make it, 4 make it, sometimes even 5 make it, that they get finally selected for the scholarship. But there is no guarantee. In chances where there is of low budget, or chances of getting really strong applications from other countries, chances are that the India recommendations may not make it. Maybe 1 or only 2 students of the 5 or 6 or 4 recommended will get the scholarship, right? So this is the process, guys. So there is first initial screening by the national committee. Second, the interviews happen only for the shortlisted candidates, and then of the recommended students, of the recommended applications, they are that are sent to Geneva, only a few, maybe all, but only a few get selected for the final scholarship. All right. The way this ISP works is, जो भी amount आपको scholarship में sanction करने में आएगा, वो 50% grant रहेगा and 50% रहेगा. The 50% grant means 50% is free. You will get it staggered over the period of your study period, and 50% is loan. That means once you have completed your studies, you will have to repay the loan, right? I mean, either you kind of complete your studies or you start working. Decisions are binding and irrevocable, so there is no way where you can kind of come to the committee or the interview panel and start arguing or getting the right justification. There is always a process. The interview panelists are experts. They will guide you, they will help you, they will also give some kind of a feedback, so you will understand what they are talking about, right? But that you cannot come to the committee or to the panel and argue, or there cannot be any further discussion once the interviews are done and the decisions are final. All right. Students can apply again the next year if they do not make it to the interview. A recommendation is the first time. So मान लो अगर एक student है, उसको masters करना है from let's say to University of Toronto, उसने apply किया, his 10th standard, 12th standard and undergraduate scores were great, really great, but for some reason in the interview he could not really get to the recommended list. He did not make it to the top 5 or top 4 after the interview. And if he comes back, he has options whether he still wants to kind of go and pursue the masters by probably arranging finances from some other scholarship agencies or family or other means, or if he chooses to defer the admission for a year and probably apply next year, he's free to kind of apply to the ISP again. I'm stressing on this point because I think in the year 2014 or 15 हमारे पास में ऐसे applications थे जो maybe वो साल पे select नहीं हुए थे, but next year उन्होंने apply किया, they had a better application and they got through. They were recommended and they were also selected, right? So keep this in mind. Exclusive assistance provided by the scholarship office AKEBI for all Ismaili applications. So जैसे ही आप अपना application form भरते हो, आपको कोई भी doubt आता है, आपको कुछ भी clarification चाहिए, the scholarship committee, the national committee will always be there to assist you, to answer all your queries. So rest assured, the national committee over there, even before the first screening, they will help you to kind of judge, not to judge, but to help you in your application process. कुछ अगर आपके documents छूट गए हैं, तो डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. The committee will first contact you and ask you for all those documents. So don't worry about it. What I'm trying to say is that the AKEB board, the committee members will always be there to assist you. All right. So this is the application process. Okay. Let me go to the chat box and see if there are any questions right now. Hey guys, Aman, how about the student who has more than percentage to offer? As an example, I graduated from the academy, such as leadership and extracurricular. Okay. Some really needs financial help, then how come they pay for IELTS and for admission process? It takes up 50,000. Unfortunately, we don't get selected, and then we have to bear the financial pressure or loss. Okay, that's not a direct question for ISP, guys. We can talk about it after after the call is over. The AKF ISP is very strictly to kind of fund you for your masters. As such, maybe take it. Unfortunately, there is no process. There is no program to kind of help you prepare for your admission. Like IELTS hai, your classes hai. That is not the agenda in the ISP program. Okay, what if we don't have the acceptance letter from the university, but we have shortlisted the university? You can apply. Definitely, you can apply. The criteria over here is that मान लो अगर आपका एप्लीकेशन बहुत ही स्ट्रांग है, आप फर्स्ट स्क्रीनिंग में आप क्लियर हो जाते हो, then you go to the interview. If you clear the interview as well, the interviewers will definitely ask you कि आपका admission confirmed है or are you still waiting? Are you waitlisted or by the university? Has the university told you that they will get back to you? All these questions are asked in the interview. And मान लो if your application is waitlisted, after the interviews are done, and if you are recommended, if you are selected in the recommendation list, आपको एक टाइमलाइन दी जाएगी कि भाई ये टाइम में हम हमारे एप्लीकेशंस जेनीवा आईएस इंटरनेशनल कमिटी को भेजने वाले हैं. इफ योर एडमिशन कम्स बाय देन, fantastic, your application, your recommendation will go through. Unfortunately, if your admission doesn't happen by that time, unfortunately your application will be removed from the recommendation list. So don't worry, you can apply. However, you have to make sure that your timings are well aligned with the entire application process. So I think 31st March is the deadline. Somewhere around mid-April or end of April is the interview timeline. That is where the interviews happen. And then after the interviews, I think we take around a month to kind of process all the applications and send our final recommended list to Geneva, which means you have time till around mid of May or end of May to kind of finalize your admission with the university. Okay. What if all right, the criteria for meritocracy is based on CGPA or percentage. Shalina, there is no hard criteria as such. We will look at the percentage as well, and we will look at the CGPA as well. There are percentiles as well. So we look at everything. So don't worry about that. Does ISP help in getting through visa? Rahim Basaya, marwayega baba. Visa agency nahi khulne ke apne ko. What if percentage is less but student don't have a good financial background? Henna, okay. Now this is a very tricky question. All these scholarship programs by Aga Khan Foundation or Aga Khan Education Board evaluates both merit plus need, right? So we will look at both merit plus need. So if percentage is less, that means merit is less. So unfortunately, the student will not make it through. That's why I said, both are needed, both has to be balanced. The need has to be there and the merit also has to be there. It's a very simple case hai now. Simple si baat hai yaar. Agar koi 60% or 50% la raha hai, and if he's saying that I just want to go to Canada, I've got a good college over there, but I'm very poor, I can't make it over here. Do you think any scholarship agency will be able to kind of help him financially? Think of those guys. This is not a money assisting agency. This is not a money assisting program. This will really for those students who are really great in meritocracy, who are scholars as well as needy. So both of these criteria will be evaluated. Okay, Mr. Nayani, by professional experience, does it mean it is recommended to have 1 or 2 years of experience? Yes, it is recommended. However, that is not the hard criteria. See, I'm telling you again, guys, जो भी वहाँ पे application criteria में मैंने दिखाया, and Saif, you may want to go to the second slide. Those are not hard criterias. Your application will not be rejected straight away if you have 40% in your 10th, or if you have 0 years of work experience, or if you have let's say no skills at all or no communication at all. अगर आप English में बात नहीं कर सकते हो तो don't worry, guys. Your merit is not evaluated basis where you are coming from. Your merit is not evaluated basis of what language you speak. But guys, keep this in mind. अगर आप communicate नहीं कर पा रहे हो, and आपके साथ में अगर दूसरा application है जिसकी percentage आपके जैसे ही है, मान लो उसकी university भी आपकी जैसे ही है, and if he or she is able to communicate better, किसको आप support करोगे? Right? Whenever you ask these questions to me, ask these questions to yourself, that who will the agency back? Right? So I think half of the answers will be covered there and there itself. Okay, this scholarship is only for master's degree or above. Amit, this scholarship prefers students who are going for their masters. However, in the past, there have been applications who have applied for PhD degrees also. However, the preference is for masters. Okay, what if student is doing MSc in India only? Okay, Parvez, again a trick question. I'll answer this later. So generally, मैं generally कह रहा हूँ, okay, and I hope you understand what I mean by generally. So generally, international scholarship program is for students in India who want to pursue degrees abroad. Generally is what I'm saying. Okay, I will answer that later in detail. Don't worry. Rahim Basaya, does ISP help student in getting through visa? अरे बाबा तो second time question पूछा. Visa agency नहीं है रे बाबा. However, if you have secured an admission in a good university, if you have got scholarships from ISP, if you have selected, of course I don't think there is any embassy or any country which will deny you a visa. But don't take it the other way around. ISP मिला है या आपको admission मिला है, that does not mean visa मिलेगा. Do we need to do admission first and then fill the form? Ajay, no. I answered this previously. आपका admission अगर tentative है तो भी चलेगा. But जैसे कि मैंने बताया, 31st March is the timeline to fill the form, submit the form. Mid-April में interviews होंगे. Interviews के बाद में 1 महीना application process करने में जाता है. And if you make it to the recommended list, then you will be given some time to make sure कि आपका admission confirm हो जाता है. Right? I think at the end of the call, when I will hand it over to 2 students जिनको last year scholarship मिला था, I think both of them did not had a confirmed admission, and I will let Azmeena and Saif, who are our champions last year, to talk more कि उनका process कैसे हुआ था. I'll skip and then go to the next question. Okay, Sharmeen. Okay, let me complete the slides then, or else we'll run out of time. Saif, just remind me on which question I stopped. Okay, application process is done. Let's go to the next. Okay, interviews, do's and don'ts. I hope everybody is at least clear about the application process. I will answer questions. Don't worry. जो भी आपने questions डाला रहेगा chat box में, everything will be answered. Take it from me. Don't worry at all. All right. Interviews, do's and don'ts. For students who are active forwardation, please review your SOP, the statement of purpose that you submit along with your application, and the application materials thoroughly. Guys, don't even think to fake anything in your application. The details are very minutely checked by the committee, and I'm telling you there are 3 levels. एक national committee screen करेगी application को, interviewers उसको देखेंगे, plus international committee आपको screen करेगी. So don't fudge anything, don't overstate anything. Whatever is the fact, make sure you are mentioning it right. So your application has to be factually correct. Okay, if there are gaps in your CV or resume, make sure you are able to explain why. So for people who have, let's say, who have completed their undergrad in 2017, then they have been working for a year and then they took a break for 6 months, then again working. Make sure you have some explanations ready कि आपने break क्यों लिया था. If for students who have a break between their year of completing the graduation and then maybe after 1 year they have started working, so of course there will be questions कि आप 1 साल तक क्या कर रहे थे. Right? Answers could be many. I'm not going to give you the answers. when I was बहुत ही simple हो जाएगा. Answers could be many, but you have to be ready with your answers कि ठीक है ये मेरा gap इसलिए था for whatever reasons. If you're applying for a degree in the arts or any field, forget arts. Any field, make sure you are carrying some project work along with you. Students in the past have carried their laptops to show some kind of a presentation. Students who have done engineering and then they're applying for a master's degree in engineering abroad, they are probably carrying their project work. कि देखिए मैंने ये मेरे last year में ये project किया था. Some students who have built some websites, some students who have done some extracurricular projects while they were studying in India, they all are showcasing their talent through their project work over here. And interviews would be really happy if you do that. So not only students in arts and architecture, but others, commerce, MBAs, engineers, doctors, whoever it is, if there is anything that you can highlight by showing your extracurricular work, please do that in the interview. All right. Interviews, do's and don'ts. Listen carefully. Understand the audience you are speaking to and tailor your response accordingly. जैसे कि मैंने बताया कि there are 5 members in the interview panel. I was one of them. I was a part for the last 3 years. Each interview panelist is an expert in his or her area. So when they ask you questions, you have to be very careful, very mindful of what they are asking. You will, of course, they are very polite that they will ask you the question second time or third time if you don't understand it correctly. But you know what are the consequences, right? When somebody repeats a question. So be very attentive, be very open-minded, and be very kind of serious in when your interview is happening. If you're applying for fields that are extremely technical, break the content down into ideas that are easy to relate to. Now, this will happen, for example, if somebody is going for a master's in machine learning abroad, and मान लो अगर आपके interview panel में कोई भी engineer या कोई भी technical guy नहीं है, and then if you're talking, hey, I want to do machine learning and I'm in artificial intelligence and I have done some coding and this is Fibonacci and this is da. And if the interviewers are not understanding, it is your responsibility to make them understand. So be very simple and lucid in your language in your conversations. Be very calm, guys. This is not like तो इंटरव्यू के अगर आप ये नहीं करोगे so unnecessary आपको stress आएगा, you will get nervous. Be very very calm, be very very composed. The interviewers are very very polite over there. They are happy to listen to you. So make sure that you are telling them your story, and don't fake anything. Everything has to be factually correct. Research your field of study, university you are applying to, talk to the alumni, talk to students who have completed their masters from those universities. You will get an idea. You will be able to better articulate what you want to do. You will be able to better make the interviewers understand what is the career that you want to pursue, and in general you will be able to tie everything correctly, very coherently. And lastly, have a plan B. And I'm not saying कि अगर आप interview fail कर जाते हो तो no. I'm saying generally have a plan B. राइट अगर आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी में एडमिशन नहीं हुआ तो फिर प्लान बी क्या है, अगर आपका ये फील्ड में काम नहीं चला तो प्लान बी क्या है, अगर आपने ये स्कॉलरशिप आपको नहीं मिली तो आपका प्लान बी क्या है, आप कहाँ से फाइनेंसेस अरेंज करोगे. दीज क्वेश्चंस विल बी आस्क्ड, सो बी प्रिपेयर्ड. ऑलराइट, सेफ, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. Okay, typical interview questions. Tell me something about yourself. दुनिया का कितना भी बड़ा इंटरव्यू हो या कितना भी कॉम्प्लेक्स इंटरव्यू हो, I think it always starts with this particular simple question. Tell me something about yourself. And we feel it is very simple. We don't prepare for it or we don't rehearse before going for the interview. But this that is like that will probably shape the perceptions, interview के mind में कि ये बंदा क्या है. Trust me. So don't take this question lightly. And this is, I'm not revealing कि क्या questions आपको पूछने वाले हैं ISP के interview में, but it is a given. In any goddamn interview that you apply, be it for your work, be it for your company, be it for your university or a scholarship or anything, this is the first question that comes. Okay, tell me something about yourself. Walk us through your profile. So be very, very prepared. What is it that you want to speak for the next 2 or 3 minutes? Tell me something about your work experiences. Why did you choose this career? Why this particular university? So these are very, very simple questions. So expect these questions to come, right? I'm not giving you a list कि यही आने वाला है, but these type of questions come generally in a scholarship interview, right? Why do you think, what do you think it takes to be successful in this career? What are your plans? आप आगे जाके क्या करोगे 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? How do you plan to fund your studies? Very important question. अगर आपको ISP नहीं मिलता है तो as I said, 25 students apply, 50 students apply, 25 go through the interview, only 5 get recommended, and chances are only 3 may get selected, right? And high chances that, or I don't know high chances, but great probability that you may not be one of those 3. So what are your options? Will you go for a loan? Have you applied to other scholarship agencies? Are you talking to your family members so that they can kind of leverage some of your savings? All these things you have to be very, very ready with, prepared with for these questions, for these type of questions. Is the course available locally? If yes, then why did you apply? आपका फिर US जाने का या Canada जाने का motive क्या है? अगर ये masters course India में available है तो, right? Is there anything you would like to tell us that okay, that is not there in your profile? So these type of questions come. Of course, we will be sharing this PPT with you or only selected slides with you, so you can take a look at it and you can prepare accordingly if you plan to submit your application in ISP this year. All right. Before going to the questions, I will go to the last slide, and I'm hoping that most of your questions will be answered by this particular slide. So based on my experience of the ISP for the last 4 years, guys, this is what I have. I feel that everybody should be clear with facts and myths. There are statements over here, there are pointers over here. Some are facts, some are myths. Okay. First point. If I'm needy, I will get this scholarship. Guys, this is a myth. However sad or however unfortunate this sounds, this is not true when it comes to ISP. If I'm needy, that means if you're coming from an area or if you're coming from a family background which is not very affluent, आपकी फैमिली की इनकम इतनी नहीं है एंड आपके परसेंटेजेस एवरेज है या मेरिट है, that does not guarantee that you will be selected for the ISP. As I said, ISP looks at an all-round performance by an applicant. It has to be merit plus need. It cannot be just one. So this is a myth, guys. Please इसमें मत रहना. Last 4 years में, after conducting the interviews, there are genuine applicants who don't get selected, and they are very, very needy. I personally feel sorry. Everybody feels sorry. and then I get a call from the board members, from some regional members, hey, iska application select nahi hua, iski family बहुत जरूरतमंद है, बहुत needy है. And I have to answer it every time that need is not the only criteria that the ISP interviewers look at. So please guys, that's a myth. Preference is given to students under 30 years of age. This is a fact. This is not a myth, it's a fact. आपको prefer किया जाता है. I'm not saying कि अगर आप 34 हो, 35 हो या 38 हो, that means आप apply नहीं कर सकते. I'm not saying that that's a hard criteria. It's a preference. That okay, let's say if there are two students, equal ranking, equal merit, equal need, equal university, and if somebody is 26 and the other one is 34, the 26, the younger will get selected. That's a preference. Applications for short-term courses are not considered. Yes, it's a fact. अगर आप 6 months के कोर्स के लिए या 2 महीने के कोर्स के लिए आपको बाहर जाना है, that will not be considered. That's not a part of the ISP program. And guys, मैंने शायद ये पहले नहीं बोला, but the ISP program is designed at an international level. It is not something that the India Aga Khan Education Board decides or designs. It's designed by the international committee that's directly under the governance by Prince Amin. And I'm sure the criteria and all the program details will be shared with Hazri Ma'am. So this is like an international program. None of the policies, none of the criteria, none of the selection criteria is designed by Education Board India. So don't national committee members or your local committee members, they are not the one who designed this program. Of course, we take feedback and give it every year, and I'm sure every country takes the feedback and gives it every year, but this is a program that is completely governed by the policies designed at the international level. So applications for short-term courses are not considered. Applications from students who are in a midstream are not considered. Very, very important. अगर आपका यूनिवर्सिटी का कोर्स, आपका मास्टर्स का डिग्री ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट हो गया है before the ISP ka interview happens or before the ISP ka program happens, then I'm very sorry, you will not be considered for applying to ISP in that particular year. That's a hard criteria. I know there has been concerns and there has been questions and there has been feedback, and we have shared this feedback. Till now, unfortunately, we have not seen any work or any decision happening for this particular point, but that is the hard criteria. Students jinka courses are about to start only after April or May, probably May later, are only eligible to apply for ISP. So that's a very, very hard criteria. If I come from an affluent background, I will be rejected. अगर मेरी family बहुत ही rich है तो मुझे scholarship नहीं मिलेगी. No, it's not that. अगर आपकी family काफी rich है, but we all understand एक अच्छी university में जाने के लिए, एक अच्छा course करने के लिए, the expenses are 40 to 50 lakhs. So if you are filthy rich, अगर आप महीने में करोड़ रुपया कमाते हैं तो definitely you should not be applying. But if you feel that my family is earning decent, but if you still feel कि आपको scholarship का help चाहिएगा because the expenses are really high, then you should be applying to the program. There is no hard criteria कि अगर आप बहुत ही अमीर हैं तो आप select नहीं होंगे. No, that is not the case with ISP. Merit plus need. Plus is very important. My university rank in the world is 500. My application will be rejected. Myth. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. अगर आपका यूनिवर्सिटी रैंक 700 है तो भी आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. आपको अप्लाई करने से आपका hey, can you hear me? Seth, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. My university rank is high. I mean, it's probably low, above 500. Don't worry, guys. You can still apply. Of course, as I said, all applications will be considered. They will be screened. अगर applications ज़्यादा applications होंगे जिनका university rank आपसे पहले है, of course the preference will be given over there. But your extracurriculars, your course rank, your subject rank, हर university का एक अपना rank होता है, world rank, and हर university में एक अलग subject rank होता है. Be very, very mindful. कौन सा रैंक हायर है, आप वो रैंक अपने एप्लीकेशन में मेंशन करना, एंड वहां पे ब्रैकेट में लिखना दिस इज द सब्जेक्ट रैंक, दिस इज नॉट द यूनिवर्सिटी रैंक. डोंट फेक इट गाइस. बट इफ यू फील I'll give you an example. In 2017, I think there was one guy, Ismaili, a guy who applied for a university called as Stony Brooks, and if you look at the world ranking of that university, it is 350. And trust me guys, there were applications jinka university ranking was 100, 150, 180, but The person who had applied to and got admitted into Stony Brooks University, he got recommended and he got selected. Why? Because he had chosen, I think, computer science program for masters in that particular university, which was ranked in top 100 in the world. So the subject rank was higher, and that is why he smartly decided to put the subject rank over there in this application. Of course, we are also smart to understand that university ka rank kitna hai and subject rank kitna hai. And that's why I'm saying don't fake it, but be very, very mindful, be very, very smart, be very, very factually correct in mentioning the best that you can in your application. All right. My communication is very bad and hence I will fail in the interview. Ye question मैंने specifically डाला है because I know that there are students who feel कि मैंने कुछ extra curriculums नहीं किया है, मेरा English communication इतना अच्छा नहीं है, मैं interview में शायद अच्छा perform नहीं कर पाऊंगा या नहीं कर पाऊंगी. Don't worry. If your paper has weight, if there is merit, if you qualify in the needy, you will still be considered for the application. And who knows? I mean, higher chances are there that you may even get selected. However, guys, keep in mind, you are applying for an international program. अगर आपका कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है कि आप अच्छे से बोल पाओगे, अगर आप अच्छे से बात कर पाओगे, अगर आप अच्छे से कोऑर्डिनेट कर पाओगे, then how do you expect the interviewers to think कि बाबा मैं तेरे को फाइनेंस तो कर दूंगा, लेकिन तू यूएस में जाके अगर यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट से बात नहीं कर पाएगा, अगर तू यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर से बात नहीं कर पाएगा, then how will you succeed, right? So think of all those lines, guys. The interviewers, the committee members are not bad, right? But you have to take a holistic view of the application. Everything has to be there. Only then your application will go beyond others who are applying in the same pool, who are lying in the same pool as yours, right? But no hard criteria. Still, try your luck. The program gives priority to master's degree courses. I think, as I said, PhD students को preference. Second preference hai. The preference is for students who wish to pursue masters abroad. That's a preference I'm saying. ISP must be considered a lender of last resort. Guys, that's a fact. It's not a myth, it's a fact. You, before coming for the ISP, you have to make sure कि आपने सारे options exhaust कर लिए हैं. Will a master's course from India be considered for Indian applications? I don't want to put that in the first place, but मैंने ये फिर भी डाला है that if your university is very, very high in India, there are certain exceptions that have been made in the past. But please, guys, mind me and hear me very carefully on what I'm saying. If your university or college is the top 5 or the top 10 in India, only then come and apply to the ISP. Primarily, ISP is for students who want to go abroad. I hope I'm clear over there. I don't have any work experience and so I should not apply this year. Sorry guys, you can still apply. Don't worry. There are master's courses जहाँ पे engineering खत्म करने के बाद में इंडिया में ऐसा ट्रेंड है फटाफट मास्टर्स कर लेने का बाहर से जाके. So don't worry अगर आपके पास में work experience नहीं है तो. Or if you have only 6 months of work experience, that is fine, right? That is not a hard criteria. Okay. All right. So I've covered the application process. I've told you what are the interview do's and don'ts. I would like to invite Saif and Azmeena, and while they are talking, I would go through all your questions and make sure that the questions are answered. So the facts and myths are also covered, the process is covered, the do's and don'ts are covered. Saif, I think you should probably, you can unmute me, you can keep me unmuted, but you should invite Azmeena and Saif to talk about their applications.
Yes, sure. So Azmeena and Saifil, are you on the call? Let me just
Okay. And don't worry guys, मैं chat के ऊपर से questions ले रहा हूँ, so none of your questions will go unanswered. पर फालतू का question पूछोगे ना तो पड़ेगी. Don't worry guys.
Saifil and Azmeena, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, if we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So Saifil, do you want to go first?
I think Azmeena might have to hear something scheduled.
You can go.
I think.
Go ahead. You can go ahead. It's okay.
Oh, I can go ahead. It's fine from your side.
Yeah. Yes, that's.
Okay, sure. So thank you, Shaunak, so much for filling this information. And I think this will be of really great help to the applicants, because during my time, especially, I'm not sure if such seminar was hosted or I missed it, but having this information beforehand would have been really helpful. So I'd just like to break down the entire application process from the beginning to the end and give the applicants my experience, and maybe there is something that you can relate to or you can learn from that might help you as well. So I just start off with preparing for the application. So as I said, during my year I did not attend any such seminar. So I think you guys have an edge based on that. So please make sure that any doubts or questions that you have, you clear it out in this seminar, because this is a good platform to really get to know the program. So for me, what I did is I came to know about the ISP program for a previous year scholar from my Jamaat Khana. So I came in contact with him. I asked him a few questions, and he contacted me with the regional person who was managing the ISP. So my application was taken thereafter from the regional board member, whom they advised me regarding the application. So the first step of the application is to fill the application form. So I'm not sure if the application forms are rolled out yet, but there are very specific sections in the application form, and you guys should be prepared to write in very detail your profile. So I'd like to break it down primarily into two factors, that is finance and non-financial sections. So for the non-financial section, let me just brief up some of the things that helped me or which I specifically focused on. So the first thing being the statement of purpose. So let it be any college admission or scholarship program, I cannot stress enough how important the statement of purpose is. And one thing I'd recommend is during the application that you should spend considerable amount of time to frame your statement of purpose. Just look and try to understand what the scholarship is seeking and why did you choose the university. So the two main tracks in my statement of purpose were why exactly do I want to do masters, and why specifically from this university where I'm going to do my masters. And the second was how would I be able to give back to the ISP. So few good pointers are for me. So I had an engineering background. I did my bachelor's of engineering in information technology. So and I'm pursuing my master's in computer science from Georgia Institute of Technology. Yeah, sorry, I should have actually introduced myself first. So I'll just give a small brief to what I'm doing. So I'm in second semester of master's in computer science from Georgia Institute of Technology, which is based in Atlanta, US. And I did my undergraduate, as I mentioned. So I've applied for a computer science program. So my SOP was fairly based on the work which I had done during my undergraduate and linking them to why exactly what is being done at Georgia Tech and what is the end game which I'm trying to achieve and how Georgia Tech would help me to achieve that. So justifying why do you want to do the masters and why from the specific university is really important is what I feel. And one other pointer is, so for me, I focus greatly on how exactly could I give back to the community and what I had done in the past, which would prove those things. So I think including any projects or work which you have done in the past, which can justify your claim, is a very good thing to add in your statement of purpose. So try to link it to your motive and try to use those projects as means of justifying what you're trying to say. So those are the things, and I'd again recommend that you spend considerable amount of time on your statement of purpose. And apart from that, you have to submit 3 letter of recommendations. So for me, I did not have any work experience. So I'd done my internship and I went straight out of my undergraduate for my master's. So I got 2 letter of recommendations from my professors and one from the place where I had interned. So make sure you have, most of you must have applied to universities. So I'm sure you have that sorted, but be prepared to submit 3 letter of recommendations and resume. So the thing is, uh, you do not have to explicitly, I mean, there will be a lot of sections that will cover the gist of your resume and what you have done in the past. So as Shaunak mentioned, just good merit is not enough. So make sure that you really try hard to bring out whatever extracurriculars, let it be academic or non-academic, that you have done and the achievements of your past, to include them in the applications. So think really hard, bring out any of the things, and don't think this might be useless, as in if it is not academically related or something like that. I just went ahead and put any academic or non-academic achievements which I had, let it be from any paper publication to any small competition which I had won, or just ranking online or something like that. So I tried to include everything which I had in my profile in the application. So this was the non-financial part. And yeah, I think the good scores. So for me, I had GRE and TOEFL. So I think having good application scores also was one thing which might have stood out for me. So if you have good scores or something like that, make sure to highlight them as well. And the other part I'd like to cover is the financial part. So there will be very specific questions regarding the family income. So I recommend that, and it is, of course, it is meant how it is meant to be is that please be very transparent to giving down the breakdown. So I feel the panelists can have a better view and better understanding of how you might require the internship. Require the scholarship. So be very transparent in saying in listing down your finances, and uh, and there will be sections where they ask you which other sources of finance have you opted for. And I'd like to get back to this later when I speak about the interview. So try to sit down with your family members and try to see what kind of financial options do you have, because those kind of things will be required in the application for you to write in very specific details. This is what at least what I did, and I think is helpful. And so I just move on to the interview process. So I just share how my interview process was and few of the pointers which I kept in mind while preparing for the interview. So first of all, how, as Shaunak mentioned, you'll be applying online, and few of the applications will be shortlisted, and those applicants will be called to the Mumbai center. At least for us, it was the Mumbai center last year. So there were two rounds of interview for us. One was the first round of interview and the final round of interview. So in first round of interview, the panelists will really try to help you and advise you. So I remember we had a short seminar before the interview, the first interview, where they told us what kind of questions could you expect, like Shaunak himself covered. So they will be going in more depth on that subject. So make sure you do not miss your first mock interview or the first round of the interview. So because I feel a lot of good tips which I got on interviewing, the final interview was the first interview. So the panelists really advised me on what kind of questions maybe to expect, and uh, what are the things which they are specifically looking for. So in terms of Aga Khan scholarship interview, one thing which I'd like to focus is, so they are also really interested in knowing how exactly could you get back to the community, if specifically the Aga Khan community, and if not to a greater community. So I'd really recommend, what I did at least, is you go on and look for the projects which are going on, which are being done by the Aga Khan Foundation, and where exactly could you fit yourself after completion of your master's, or even during, even having the knowledge which you currently have. So make sure you do a very thorough research of what is being done by Aga Khan Foundation, and where could you potentially fit yourself uh, after doing your masters. So you really want to bring out why do you want to do masters, how could you give back to the community, and how would that be a bridge to what you want to ultimately achieve. So for me, I didn't have work experience. So there are a few questions like, why did you not opt for any work experience? Or why do you want to go to the US if there are universities in India itself? Why computer science specifically, and why this university, Georgia Tech specifically? So be sure to research thoroughly on your university. There will be questions on your university regarding its rankings, its program, and what kind of courses you are aiming to take. So I'm sure a lot of you must have done that research during your statement of purpose for the university. But be very thorough on why do you want to pursue this university, and why do you want to pursue masters itself, and having a good idea of your long-term and short-term goals of during your masters and after your masters. And a long-term goal is really important, is what I feel. So know why do you want to pursue masters, why the specific university, what are your goals, and how can you give back to the community and the Aga Khan community itself. So those were the few things which uh, helped me. And one thing I cannot stress enough is, please do not keep Aga Khan, the ISP program, as your first resort. Is you shouldn't it shouldn't come out in the interview as if this is the only scholarship which you have applied to and only means of finance which you have applied to. So the panelists will be really interested in knowing what other options have you considered. So there are specific sections in the applications where they have asked if you have received any any other funding from any other source, uh, or you have even applied for any other sources. So I'm sure if I've been through the application process, so it is not very easy to get financial funding from a just like that, like just you wake up one day and you have financial support, but at least get to know your options. So I think this is a very good time for you guys to research in more depth what kind of options might be available to you. So there are few options, like there are loan by banks in India like HDFC Credila, and there's Prodigy Finances, a lot of my friends which they opted for. Then there are other non-Ismaili based scholarship programs as well, and if you search online, I think it is fairly straightforward to find, but make sure that at least you have a list of scholarships that you have applied to. It is not important that you get those scholarships or you get those loans, but at least be sure that you have applied to them and you have kept your options open. So I cannot stress enough on this, but please make sure that you apply to other scholarship programs and other loan programs when you are stepping into the ISP interview. And as Shaunak mentioned, the panelists will be really friendly and they are there to help you. So you really need to understand that the panelists are rather on your side, and it is not that they are trying to drill you or something. They just want to know what is the motive and what is the best for you. And of course, uh, due to how the program is laid out, it is not possible, of course, to fund each and every person. So please understand that the panelists are on your side, and make every effort that you can from your side to bring out your profile and be very clear as to what do you want and why are you doing this. So I'd recommend before the interview spend considerable amount of time on intercepting what type of questions could be asked, which would be made very clear after the first round of interview. So please make sure you give enough time, you prepare, you rehearse, and you have the basic and the common questions that can be asked. At least to some extent you have an idea how to answer them, and be very clear why you're doing this. And it is okay to seek out help. You can of course always ask all of us and we'll be happy to help. So you can reach out to us, but please make sure that you make efforts to understand how the program is laid out and what they are asking for. Uh, and yeah, as Shaunak mentioned, one thing which even I did is, uh, what even I did is that I had few projects from my undergraduate. So these projects I took out printouts, or I had videos on my mobile phone which I took. So due to the time constraint, I couldn't actually show those videos or the projects which I had done. But it is a good idea, as Shaunak mentioned. Is what I had done is that you take the work which you had done. So I'm from an engineering background, so it is not necessary that you might have something to show physically, but if you do have, then make sure that you take them and be thoroughly prepared on your resume. So be prepared to answer technical questions. There will be technical questions regarding your experience, if you have experience, regarding your projects, if you have listed your projects and your coursework. And so be thorough with your resume. And as I mentioned, be calm, because the panelists are on your side and they're there to help you. And I wish you all best of luck. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer in the chat. Thank you, Shaunak.
Hey, Saiful, thanks so much. Thanks. I think that was a brilliant share. I really appreciate that. And in fact, I would want to kind of reiterate and bring this point back that you had shared with everyone. Guys, bring out the best in your interview. Bring out the best in your application. Don't worry. I think there is help available at each and every stage of the application. So don't worry. Just bring out the best. Be it merit, be it need. Azmina, you want to quickly chip in with your points? I think we are well over the time. But if very shortly, if you can just cover maybe the things that probably got missed by me or Saiful. Saif, you may want to mute Azmina in case if you have muted her. Yep, thought so. Saif?
Yeah, it seems I can't unmute. Hold on, give me a second.
Yes, hello.
Yes, Azmina, you're audible.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So, thank you, Saifil, for this brilliant share. And I think you have covered most of the points that even I had in my mind. So, introducing myself, I am Azmeena Lalani, and I'm pursuing my master's in food safety at McGill University. Uh, so, I think most of the brief is given by Saifil. So I would quickly go over um, SOP and the letter of recommendations, which I feel is like the heart of the application. There are a lot of questions that have come across earlier to me about how should the SOP be, or whom to choose to write your letter of recommendation. So for your SOP, I feel that you should be as honest as possible, and I'm sure a lot of you have done a lot of things during your bachelor's, and it is very important while making your SOP that you highlight the most important points. So just make a list of what all you have done academically or extracurricular in your SOP, and write it down in a very I would say if you have work experience, a lot of students ask that maybe which professors to choose, or is a work somebody you have worked with, is that letter important? So I would say um, two professors and one letter from someone under you have worked is helps to give the committee a better understanding of your qualities as a person. So I think two professors and one person whom you have worked under is the best combination to give. So these are the two things that are very important in your application. The second thing is the timeline that you have to consider. Uh, I know we have been in this situation, and there is a lot of confusion happening about whether you get the admit, or whether it's still pending, or whether the other applications to other scholarships that you have applied to are pending. So I would just say that the international universities have like a very broad window of their admission process. So I would say start as early as possible if you're planning to apply and get an admit, because a final admit or a final confirmation of letter from the university is very very important, because as Shaunak sir mentioned that there are going to be so many students, and as it has been observed that there is so much competition about the whole process. So would you want to not be on the safer side by getting a confirmed admission as soon as possible, and when you appear for the interview, or for the final recommendation list to an international platform, you have a confirmed application, so that your application is taken very very seriously. Also, one thing I want to highlight is please look for other scholarships. I think there are a lot of scholarships available, given by some private organizations in Mumbai, which I have seen during my application. And no matter if you don't get the scholarship or your decision is pending, but a number of scholarships that you have applied to, you will have to mention it on the application, the AKISP application, and that shows your dedication towards this whole process. For the interview, I would like to suggest you that be very well prepared and show that you have a plan. I think what the committee is looking for, how well planned or prepared are you getting an admission and applying to the scholarship and being all ready to go and pursue your masters. But what are your plans for those 2 years of pursuing the master's degree? What are you actually planning to do? What you plan to take away from the 2 years at the university, I think is very important. And also your plans after you have completed your master's degree, I think that counts too. So this is what the committee looks for. Yes, I think I have covered up the important points.
Wonderful. I think Azmina, great piece of advice, and I like the fact that you stressed on what Sefil also talked about, that people should be looking for backup when it comes to finances. So I'm really glad you both talked about it, and great. I mean, you two are really becoming champions now. So I'm looking forward to kind of hear you in some public conferences maybe after years.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
All right. For the folks on the call, I think we are at least done with the presentation that we had, and I'll quickly go through the questions. I'll not touch on all the questions. मैं questions ही देख रहा था while Saifil and Azmina were speaking. So I think most of the questions are answered from what I had in my presentation and Saifil and Azmina talked about. So I'll not be repetitive over here. I'll kind of quickly go through the questions and only pick up those questions which are not answered or that needs to be answered again. So okay, I think I had stopped somewhere and I'm picking a question from Riaz Panjwani. What is meant by great university? I think, as I said, it's fine if you're not from Ivy League. Don't worry about it. You can still, if you are having a university which is at least having a good subject rank, you should be able to kind of apply. And if you're saying कि budget issue की वजह से आपने apply नहीं किया, that doesn't make sense. At least you should be able to apply, guys. I mean, आपको apply करने के लिए same पैसा लगने वाला है to different universities. So please apply, and if you feel that you have the merit and the right GRE and the IELTS scores, please apply to great universities or the greatest universities if you can. Right? So don't worry about that. If you just Riyaz, imagine this way, you know, if you apply to a great university, greater your chances of getting selected in the scholarship. So आपका पूरा budget will be taken care of by ISP. So don't worry about that. Do we need to do admission first and then fill the form? Ajay, no. It's okay if you don't have an admission or a confirmed admission. Even if it is tentative, you can fill the form. Like I said, timelines ध्यान में रखना. Like Azmina said, prepare early or apply early. Skipping a few questions. The criteria for meritocracy is based on CG. I think I applied this. ISP visa wala ho gaya. Professional experience, does it mean it is recommended to have 1 or 2 years of experience? Yes, Aman, I think it's recommended. As Seth said, he got selected by the ISP, right? So don't worry. All what matters is your application. If your application में अगर आपको लग रहा है कि आपका work experience highlight करने की ज़रूरत है, then please put it and please talk about it. But if you feel that your application and your university is more looking for people who have the passion, the skills, and they don't much care about your work experience, then it's fine. So it's not required कि आपका work experience होना ही चाहिए. Scholarship is for masters or above. Yes, PhD is a second preference. Do we need to do admission? Okay, a repetitive question. What if we still didn't attend the IELTS exam but taking the tuition for that? Sorry, not relevant. Does the LORs has to be different from the ones which we have submitted to the universities? Yes, Riyaz, that can be different. That's completely fine. Does our professional career makes a good impact? Yes, Salima, it does make a good impact. So, I mean, whatever is your highlight, if your highlights are your skills, if your highlights are your professional work experience, if your highlights are your extracurriculars, please bring that in your application. Please talk about it. What about if we have a scholarship pending from some other agencies? Yes, as Saifil pointed out, I think twice or thrice, and Asmin also talked about it. Do apply to other scholarship agencies, have a plan B, get all the information on the loans, and then come prepared for the interview. And even if you don't have a confirmed scholarship from some other agencies, it is fine. The application matters. Or अगर आपके पास में confirmation होगा, that's also okay. You can still apply to ISP and probably get some additional money. So don't worry about it. From India, only 3 to 6 students. Fortunately, unfortunately, yes, that has been the trend. There is no guarantee. 3 होंगे, 6 होंगे, 16 होंगे. Can we apply for ISP after 12th? So sorry, guys. ISP is only for courses after your graduation. Any other comments that will help them evaluate your application? Of course, in your application you can write अगर आपका merit नहीं था and if you want to justify something या फिर आपका extra curriculars था लेकिन आपके पास में certificate नहीं है, so please write about it. If the student gets some scholarship from university, is he or she still eligible for Aga Khan scholarship? Yes, very much so. And the interviewers and the panel will really be glad if you have some kind of a scholarship from your university. Can we apply after 12th? Sorry, no eligibility criteria. हाँ बराबर अभी रामायण के बाद में राम पूछने गया तुमको. Can we apply after 12th to study abroad? No, college says program is of post graduation, so it counts. What do you mean by this? I don't know. College says that program is of post graduation. Oh, okay. If it's a PG course, that's also applicable. Don't worry, guys. I mean, mostly colleges and universities abroad, they give you either masters or PhDs. I have not heard of any post graduation program, but agar 1 year post graduation program hai, and if it is considerably good, comparatively good, then you can still apply. Visa consultancy told me that we have to pay 6 lakhs as a GSC to the bank that is abroad. Okay, I don't want to get over there, but I think you can still talk about the living expenses, and that is covered in the ISP is what I told. As I said in the very beginning, आपकी tuition fees cover होगी, आपका living expenses cover होगा. Kajal, you are already in MBA, you want to apply? Yes, you can apply, provided you, I don't know what course you will be looking for, but you are free to apply and you should be applying. What if I'm selected in an Ivy League but choose to go to another college due to budget issue? Would it affect my screening in any way? Riya's great question. If you happen to get an admission in let's say college A, अगर आपने ISP में college A के basis पे apply किया और मान लो आपको ISP में से 20 लाख मिला लेकिन आपका फीस 40 लाख है, आप अपने end से नहीं निकाल पा रहे हो, after getting the sanction from the ISP, you can come back to us and say कि ये मेरा problem है, and the committee will help you out. And if God forbid the committee cannot help you out, at least the committee will direct you कि आप ऐसा ऐसा कर सकते हो. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Wow, from to everyone. Do we need to do admission first and then fill in the form? I think I told you there is no required of a hard confirmation of the admission, but make sure you follow the timelines. I already have an offer letter from a community college in Canada for a PG diploma program. Can I still apply? Yes, you can apply, provided your course is getting started after the ISP starts or after the ISP interviews are done. Does a professional qualification like ACCA UK helps? At least helps a lot. Any qualification, any certificate courses, anything that you have done, dance, singing, falana, dinkana, everything will help. These are all extracurriculars. These are skills. Everything will help, guys. I'm in the second year of the computer engineering program. Can you apply, Ria? How can you apply, Baba? You will complete your 4 years and then you will go for your masters now. So apply in your 4th year. Okay. Is it compulsory to have written IELTS before applying for the scholarship? No, it is not compulsory, but it is compulsory to have IELTS before applying to the university or the college now. So only when you clear all the criteria before applying for the college, then come and apply to the scholarship. Can I apply for undergrad program? No. Universities ranking are cross-checked. Yes. Be very, very honest over here. Azmina mentioned it. Fake mat karna. Don't play with the university rank or subject rank. We will cross-verify it. This is only for university, or it's also applicable for college too, because colleges, especially community colleges in Canada, yes sir, you can apply. There is no hard rule, but simple सी बात है, आप imagine करो 20 लोग apply कर रहे हैं, 20 में से 18 लोग top की universities में जा रहे हैं, and then there is someone who is going to a community college in Canada. I think you know the answer who will get selected. If I'm in second year of college, so except for merit, how should I prepare? Keshwani Ishita, brilliant question. This is where the points that Saiful and Azmina shared will come in very, very helpful, come in very, very handy. Go take part in your festivals, go do extra projects, go take part in your extracurriculars, go for competitions outside of your colleges, go for some kind of an internships, prepare for a brilliant career, and I think your application will be very strong. Okay, is ISP only for a PG course? Papa, PG, post-graduation, PG, PhD. I will apply to TSP but not satisfy. Ali, I don't understand what is that. Can students choosing PG diploma course apply for a 2021 Jan intake? I think yes. There is no hard criteria that masters ही होना चाहिए, but of course masters would be preferred. And you know PG diploma and masters and PhD में क्या difference है. Even small achievements in the college and school, yes Sharmeen Rajani, मैंने बोला ना dance certificate भी matter करेगा, so don't worry. Right? It's all about making your application strong. Yeah. So don't worry. Even if you have some elocution competition, a poetry writing competition, make sure it gets highlighted. But of course, you can very well understand. You know, there is a student who is in your interview at the same time, and he has some projects which is very, very related to computer engineering. If he's a computer engineering student, and if you are a computer engineering student, and if you have a dance certificate, you know what will get selected or what will be given preference. No brainers. Can people applying for graduation? Sorry. Okay, what are the requirements for PhD? Sorry, Azmina, yes, you have an
Yes,
answer?
yes. I just want to add in, Shaunak sir. Sorry to cut you
Sure,
here.
no issues, go ahead.
But I would like to just say this to everyone, all the students here, that research and more research is the answer to all of your questions. And please keep this in mind that there are going to be so many students who you are in competition with for the application, and they might be well aware. So it is very important that all the questions that you have, you look it up, go in as much detail as you can on the web or with people you can get in touch with. This is very, very important.
Brilliant point, Azmina. Brilliant point. I think whatever we have been talking about, guys, and to all the students who want to apply for ISP or for that matter, any college, any university, any scholarship program, you have to do your research, guys. You have to come prepared, and most of the questions get answered by your research. I think Sefil ne bola, if you recollect, Sefil ne bola कि उसके time पे ऐसा call नहीं हुआ था. But he researched, he talked, he had a word with all the students जिनको पहले ISP मिल चुका है, जो अभी masters कर रहे हैं. He had a word with the national committee, he had a word with his committee members, and they all helped him to prepare for the application. And that's what this is where Asmina's point is very, very precious. Research karo, questions पूछो, just don't give direct questions and wait or expect direct answers. If you research, you will get all the answers. What are the requirements for PhD in Canada? I think Aman, irrelevant. At least I'll not answer this for ISP. How much IELTS score is needed in ISP? Wow, ISP doesn't need any IELTS score. What matters is how much IELTS score is needed for you to get an admission into your college or university. Will gate marks also be included for if anyone wants from an engineering background? Ishita, yes, gate marks are counted, of course, but I believe, and my understanding is that gate is for masters in India. I don't know how that ties to ISP. If you're asking Ishita that you apply for ISP, but if you want to go to a top college or a university in India, yes, you can apply, but it's very, very rare. Exceptional universities or colleges in India can go through ISP. Can you brief on the loan part, please? Aman, I think that's a topic that we can cover next time. Could you tell us what were the merit scores of Sefil and Azmina? Sefil, I don't know briefly if you just want to talk about it, but I believe they were really, really high. And I, from what I can remember, I had interviewed them and I was part of the panel, and these guys really stood out, from all the applications and the students that we had at that time. Sefil, so you were already answering that. Great. Okay. Ria, can you please mention names of a few online scholarships? Ria, there are a lot of scholarships. You can Google. However, the few that come on at the top of my mind right now is I think KC Mahindra scholarship. There is Tata Foundation, which gives you scholarship as well as loans. There is INLAX scholarship, and there are Narottam Seksaria, as Azmina mentioned over there, fantastic, and scholarships from universities also. So look out for that. My college gives me an option to get a transfer to UWL for our 3-year. Okay, specific question, Muskan, that can be answered later. Doing internships will obviously help. Great answer, Sefil. Is it possible that we can help students to get internships in the AKDN or Aga Khan Foundation? Aila, Aman, tu sab kuch pooch lega lagta hai ek raat mein. Is the program only for mainstream fields or other courses like mass communication? Good question. It's open for everything. Students in the past have been architecture students have been going for mass communication, students have been going for finance, students have been going for MBA, students have been going for hospital administration or general doctoral medical courses, dentists, everyone. It's open for everyone. Okay, all right. Okay, now no questions so far. Great, that means I can shut off my mom's internet. Thank you so much. Saif, Yash, over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Shaunak. So I think that was very, very insightful. Thank you so much for joining us as well, Azmina and Sefil. I think you guys are big inspirations for us future applicants. So we'll definitely please direct any questions that you have on the email address that's given to you on your screen, and we'll try our best to get back to you. Thanks again for a brilliant webinar. Thank you everyone for joining in. We'll keep you updated for the next one, and thanks again.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Yali Madad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Good night.